Imagine going to sleep for 7 hours and waking up and your whole back's tattooed. Sounds crazy, right? What up? Most people know me as AG. I'm a tattoo artist in Arizona. I've been tattooing professionally now for about 2 years. I specialize in large-scale custom black and gray realism. And today we're going to be going over a couple different reaction videos. First video is Tyga getting whole back and torso tattooed by Ganga Tattoo in LA and his team out there. And the second video we're going to be reacting to is an anesthesiologist and getting his thoughts and kind of his reaction to a process like this, and if he thinks it's worth it, safe, and if he would do it or not. And then at the end, I'm gonna give my 2 cents on whether I think it's something I would do, whether I think it's something that people should do, and just overall my thoughts on this process that's kind of been going viral for the past year now. You'll also get to see a video of Tyga's back before it got covered up, and when I tell you it was rough, it was rough. We're gonna see what a whole lot of money, 6 tattoo artists, and getting put to sleep for 7 hours can get you. Let's get into it. Peace. All right, so this first video, this is a video of Ganga Tattoo. So he's one of the first ones that kind of made this whole getting tattooed under anesthesia thing go kind of viral. This was, let's see, when was this from? I don't know. I don't see a date on it, but what? Yo, what in the garage tat is this? Look at the face. Look at the bottom left face too. No, look at the bottom right face. I'm tripping. What is that, bro? I know he said, I think I seen a video on this too. They like interviewed him or something like that. He said, I got him when I was 15.
I got most of my tattoos when I was 15.
First of all, I don't know what 14, 15-year-old kid is just getting their whole back blasted like that, but hey, more power to you, I guess. Like, that is horrendous. And the other thing too that I realized is when I was like watching this, I was like, bro, how old is Tiger? 30 something? 35? No, he's got to be older than that, right? He's probably like, what, 38? So that means he's had, since he was 15, whatever, 20 years or something, he's had it like this. He's had money for what, probably 10, 15 years, and he's just now getting it fixed. That's crazy. She like the in my vanilla coupe. But they did that. That shit is clean. Damn. She like my sugar cone seeds, I just took off the roof. She got a marshmallow booty, I like to sprinkle it too. I'm not icy man, this my song. Yeah, props to those artists, man. Those dudes, they got them right. Sheesh. But yeah, so now next we're gonna the next video I have to react to is, I guess it's like a doctor, maybe like an anesthesiologist or something, and like kind of what his opinion is on like people getting tattooed under anesthesia.
What you see here is Tyga, one of the biggest artists out there at the moment, getting tattoos under general anesthesia all over his torso. So for one, before I discuss how I know that he's having general anesthesia, let me just tell you that getting tattoos...
Oh, I guess this was, so he reacted to the one that he did his torso. I guess Tyga got his back and his front too, so...
probably is one of the most painful things, especially if you don't get enough local anesthesia, and a tattoo of that size probably...
Local anesthesia, isn't that when they just put it in like one spot, like they just inject it in one spot or whatever? Who is getting injected anesthesia, or is that what local anesthesia is? When it's like only in one spot, right? How is that done on just one area of a tattoo? I'm confused by the local thing.
Would not be able to be done by local anesthesia alone. You look at how many tattoo artists there are, how much skin is actually being cut up, and the length of the procedure itself. So from a quick count, it looks like there's 5 artists that are all working on him at the same time. It's going to save him so much pain and so much time in the tattoo part.
Okay, but see, that's the thing, is like that's the whole point of this, right? Like, we're talking about the 1% of people can probably like afford something like this, like, or would even want to afford something like this. I mean, I think in that Dirk song, what did he say? I spent $300K on for Ganga to tap my thighs up or something like that, whatever he said. I've heard crazy numbers being thrown around. I don't know for sure, like what the actual number is for something like this, but I've heard anywhere from 100 grand to 300 grand to 500 grand. Like I've heard some crazy numbers getting thrown out for something like this. But that's like the point of this, right? Is like, and that's what I always wondered too, though, is like, okay, great, you get 6 people to work on you at one time. In 7 hours, you get your whole back done, or you got your whole, torso done, or whatever it is, right? But the thing that I always wanted to know, like I was always curious about, is like how is the recovery time? Because like as when most people get tatted, it's like that area is pretty sore for at least a couple of days, sometimes even up to like a week. How big, depending on how big you're going, and if it's color, if it's black and gray, if it's the depending on the artist and his type of style and everything like that. If there's a lot of black work, whatever, there's a lot of variables with that, but for the most part, you're pretty tender and pretty sore for the next couple days. So I could only imagine, like, and I do pretty large scale black and gray. So I could only imagine like a whole back or a whole torso or a whole, back of your 2 legs like done in one day. When you wake up from that anesthesia, are you just like in crippling pain for like the next week and a half? Like that's the thing I always want to know. Like I feel like they probably give them something, but still, it's that would be the gnarly part for me.
Parlor, that it's probably worth it to do it under general anesthesia. Now, it makes sense totally to me because I'm afraid of needles. I'm afraid to get my blood drawn, and I poke people all the time. The amount of pain that it would take to get that many tattoos, smart man. The thing is, if you look at the blips,
I mean, I wouldn't say. I don't think the reason they're doing this, I would at least hope not, is not just for the pain. Like that being the only reason I feel like it's because, at least from what I've seen, the people doing it, like mostly like athletes or celebrities or something that are always busy and never have any like true downtime to recover for, they get one session done, they got to recover for 2 weeks. Like take athletes for example, like NFL athletes or something. Even NBA athletes. It's like, but especially more like an NFL athlete, like they may have, 1 to 2 months off, if that, like probably more like a month off in the off season. And so you don't have time to like do a session here and then wait a month or whatever and do another session here, or even do like a couple back to backs in a row. Like you don't have that much time to recover. So it's like they've been waiting all year to get their back done or something. They want their whole back done like that, like now. Like they don't have time to sit there and play around with 4, 5, 6 different sessions or whatever. Um, and they got the money, so it makes sense from that standpoint. But I mean, maybe some of these dudes are just that scared of pain of tattoos. I guess I don't know. That's crazy to me. If you're gonna spend that kind of bread just to avoid that kind of pain, I mean, I don't know.
in the back, that's the breathing of the CO2. It's kind of hard. You have to zoom in, but there's yellow blips in the back. That's what tells you that he's having general anesthesia.
Yeah,
And
bro,
there's probably a
none of us
breathing
got
tube
that.
inside of his throat. But it makes sense because this would be a very painful procedure without it. I don't know. What do you think? Would you do it?
I mean, I don't know. Would you do it? Would you not? I don't know. I feel like it makes a lot of sense if you got one that kind of money to shell out, but two is like I said with the whole athletes thing, or even like a rapper or like a performer or anything like that, where you're on the road all the time and you don't have downtime to just chill and get tatted all the time. I mean, from that standpoint, it makes sense to me, but from just a standpoint alone of like, oh, I got one tattoo and it hurt me so bad, like I'm never gonna do that again. So now I'm gonna get put under anesthesia and spend 300 grand to get it all done at one time and get turned into like a created 2K player like overnight. I mean, and part of it to me is like, I know I'm biased because I'm a tattoo artist, so I'm a little biased to it, but I think some of it, a lot of it is kind of the beauty is in the pain. Like, you go through an 8-hour session, a 10-hour session, or whatever it is, and you come out of it and you're like, damn, that was brutal. I do not want to do that again. But then, you know, a week, 2 weeks, a month goes by or whatever, and you kind of forget about the pain, but you like are proud that you like went through that, or you got that whole piece done in one day, like, and then plus two, like the biggest thing that I always think about is, I mean, if you get a whole, like, I remember when, like, I think Dirk got his legs done or whatever. You get your whole like back, legs done all in like one sitting or whatever. It's like you may want that now, like, and I understand you always kind of regret tattoos eventually, like, or not regret them, but maybe like, oh, if I would have, waited till now, I probably would have done it like this. But you're always gonna have a little bit of that, but to do that much like real estate on your body at one go, like there's no way in even a year you're kind of like, damn, I wish I would have done maybe more this style or maybe more this type of a theme or whatever it is. Like that's yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I don't know. There's different ways to kind of think about this. That's kind of just my 2 cents in on it. I think it's dope from an artist perspective. I think it's sick. I mean, as long as everything's safe and everything's like, good to go on that end, I mean, I think it would be sick. They're not gonna be moving at all. Like, so you have pretty much a still canvas that, doesn't have to get up and take breaks or do this or do that. And then you're working with like 6 of your homies or whatever on one big piece. Like, so it's a collaborative piece and it's like you know, you can't really ask for anything more than the canvas. They're just sitting there. Like, I don't know. I think from that, like from a tattoo artist standpoint, I think it's sick. I think it's super smart. I think it's super innovative. Like I said, my biggest reservation would probably be on the end of like the health and like liability side. Like, as long as all that's checked out, I mean, shoot, it's sick. I always appreciate people who are making moves in this industry that's innovative and kind of just the next, ahead of the curve with the latest and greatest stuff. I think it's sick. If you like this kind of content, drop a like, comment, and ring that bell. It really helps the channel out a lot. I appreciate you guys.